Have you ever looked up at the sky, seen a plane soaring high above, and noticed that long white line it leaves behind? Those white lines are called contrails, which is short for condensation trails. And just like their name suggests, they're essentially man-made clouds. Let's talk about what comes out of a jet engine. Besides providing thrust, a plane's engine releases hot, humid air. This exhaust is primarily made up of water vapor and carbon dioxide, which are the same things we exhale when we breathe. It also contains tiny particles, like soot. Now picture this. A plane is cruising at an altitude of around 30,000 feet, or about 9 kilometers up. At that height, the air is incredibly cold, often dropping below -40 degrees Celsius. It's also very thin. When the hot, moist exhaust from the engine blasts into this freezing, low-pressure environment, the water vapor in the exhaust cools down and condenses almost instantly. But it doesn't just turn into liquid water droplets like the clouds we see on a warm day. Instead, it goes through a process called deposition, where the water vapor turns directly into tiny ice crystals. These ice crystals are the building blocks of the contrail, but they need something to form on. Think of it like frost forming on a window pane on a cold morning. The tiny imperfections on the glass give the ice a starting point. In the sky, the microscopic soot particles from the engine's exhaust act as these starting points, or condensation nuclei. Billions upon billions of these tiny ice crystals cling to the particles, making a visible, brilliant white line tracing the airplane's path across the sky. So a contrail is basically a long, thin cloud made of ice. Now, you might have noticed that sometimes contrails disappear almost as quickly as they form, while other times they seem to linger and spread out across the sky for hours. This all depends on the humidity of the surrounding air. If the high-altitude air is very dry, the ice crystals in the contrail will quickly turn back into invisible water vapor through a process called sublimation. The trail vanishes, sometimes just a few plane lengths behind the aircraft. However, if the upper atmosphere is already quite humid, meaning it's holding a lot of moisture, the contrail has a much longer lifespan. Instead of evaporating, the ice crystals will actually pull more moisture from the surrounding air and grow larger. The contrail persists, getting wider and more spread out as it's pushed by high-altitude winds. These persistent contrails can eventually merge and evolve into a thin, wispy layer of cirrus clouds, which can cover a large area of the sky and even influence local weather by trapping heat or reflecting sunlight.